All right, YouTube. So there was definitely an announcement that took place yesterday about the new iteration of the Nintendo Switch. I guess it's called the Nintendo Switch OLED edition. And I have to admit, I am kind of excited about this new OLED Nintendo Switch. I know a lot of people are disappointed, but hear me out. I'm going to kind of just have a discussion with you guys as far as why I'm kind of excited. I'll talk about some pros and cons and different things if you're going to pick up the system, but just go into it with an open mind. All right, there are a lot of devices and video games and different things that can call for your money, especially nowadays. I know it's been hard to get like the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X and S. And I will say a few months, well, it's been like a half a year ago now, right before Christmas, I had a decision to make. I was able to get the PlayStation 5. I was able to get my hands on a few of the Xbox Series X's. I did open one and play the X. I wasn't that impressed. I know a lot of the exclusive titles still aren't out for it, but ultimately I came to the decision that I was just going to keep the Nintendo Switch, which is what I have right here. And I know I might be in the minority when I say this, but I feel like the Nintendo Switch is the best video game, in my opinion, available right now. And the reason I say that is because I am not a diehard heavy gamer. Okay, I will be the first to admit that. However, I have an extensive background in playing video games since I was a small child, having things like the Game Boy, the Nintendo, like the original one where you had to blow the cartridges, Atari, then on to like PlayStation 1, 2, I didn't get 3, Xbox original, Xbox One. So I've been very involved with the different gaming systems. Obviously, as I've gotten older, I don't have as much time to sit in front of the TV and just play games. I mean, obviously, as an adult and now as a grandfather, there's other stuff I have to do. So that kind of makes this the best game for me or people like me that don't have that kind of time to just sit there and just play game after game after game. But in different scenarios, we can do a lot of handheld gaming, right? So the in-between time, this is the perfect toilet game, right? You take this in if you know you're going to be in there for a while and just play some 2K. If you're on trips, if you're at the airport, if you're in bed late at night. So this is so convenient, and I have really enjoyed playing this thing. Now, I said all that to get to the newer system, and I'll probably do some B-roll and stuff and include that so you're not just looking at me hold this thing. There are definitely pros and cons with the newer system, right? So let's talk about the cons first. Let's get that out of the way. No 4K, no processor change, no Joy-Con change. There's no real body style change, right? It primarily looks just like this one, just reducing the bezels to make the screen bigger. So a lot of people were looking for the Switch Pro, which I will admit I was getting caught up in the rumors that there was going to be a Switch Pro and all these things about 4K and docked mode, blah, blah, blah. So if you were gung-ho about that, then you might be disappointed. Okay, I'm okay with that. However, there are so many pros that we need to look at. So we did get a bigger screen, right? A 7-inch OLED screen. And if you're not familiar with OLED, that is what Samsung phones have brought to the market for years. iPhone switched to OLED. You get the darker blacks, the deeper, richer blacks, and the colors pop. So it's going to be a very immersive experience. I already like the experience on this device, the 6.2-inch regular Switch. but getting an OLED screen is definitely a plus. I am very excited about that. So it should make your games look a lot better in handheld mode. Another pro is that your accessories will still fit. So your Joy-Cons, different like carrying cases and different things, because this is like, I don't know, getting Switch accessories is almost like being in a small community, like a cult. So you can buy all these different accessories, and it's pretty cool to be part of that. So I'm glad that I don't have to sell anything, right? I keep all the same stuff, and it's going to work on the newer model. Like I got, this, I don't even know what they call this thing here. What is this? The Split Pad Pro. I want to get that correct. So this is like an alternative to the Joy-Cons, but that works out great to give it more of an Xbox-like feel. So all that stuff is still going to work. You'll play the same games, right? So I don't have to sell any of my games. The cartridges are going to be the same for the newer system. So that's great. So I'm not losing out on money. A lot of people bought digital. I think I'm going to go with a lot of digital games going forward too. It seems like it's the best thing to do, especially I got like a 400 gig card in here already. So that's cool that the games aren't really going to change. I wish they would drop the price of the games. That would be a con, I guess. The price of the games I feel needs to drop. Nintendo games should be like $49 if we got to pay like $69 for like the new Xbox and PlayStation. Now, this is something that I was trying to research online, and it mentioned Bluetooth. And I don't know, maybe you guys can help me out in the comments, those that have already researched this. But I'm hoping that I can just connect like my AirPods for Bluetooth for the newer system. I don't know what version of Bluetooth is going to be included. I hope that there's not an adapter needed like I believe you need for this one. But just to have a Bluetooth headset that'll work would be a phenomenal upgrade for me. I just want to be able to plop my AirPods in and just enjoy some gaming that way. The battery is not less than the original. So the OLED screen, having a better screen is not going to really alter the battery. It still should get the same battery life we're getting here. I guess a con would be that maybe they could have improved the battery by an hour or two. But I know that wasn't part of the rumors, so I am not disappointed that the battery didn't get any larger, or you're not getting more battery life out of the newer model. The kickstand is another improvement. So I will admit I haven't used this a lot in the tabletop mode, so my kickstand should still be pretty solid here. But just having that Surface Pro-like kickstand to be able to adjust, different angles, that's going to be a welcome improvement, as well as the speakers. Now, the speakers are pretty decent on here, but giving better speakers, man, I'm really, really excited about that, because I have had tablets with some really good speakers, like the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6, I thought had phenomenal speakers. So if we get something similar to that, that is going to make your gameplay even more immersive. Another pro for me, and for maybe people that are trying to be optimistic about this new announcement, is that the new OLED does not make this one obsolete, right? So a lot of times we'll get different devices, we'll buy a new device, and then a couple months later they release another new device, and yours is just kind of like obsolete at that point. So I'm glad to know that my $299 investment into this Switch does not go in vain, right? This is still legit. They're still going to make the newer games. Everything is going to work fine on here. So even if I don't upgrade, I'm not left out, right? So those that have this Switch currently are probably looking at the new one like, I don't really need it, because maybe you play in dock mode most of the times. Well, that's a good thing then. Your system is not obsolete. This thing should carry on for years to come, where you don't have to upgrade. And I think that's one of the pros that a lot of people overlook. A lot of manufacturers try to keep pushing the envelope and moving things forward. But I consider this new announcement as just like the S model of a Switch, right? Because if you think about iPhones, how every year they have to release a new iPhone, but sometimes there's just like the in between year, the S model, where there's very few changes, but there's a couple of additions that may make somebody that's in the market at that time say, oh, okay, this might be a good time for me to upgrade. And I think that's the same thing with the Switch. So maybe you have a Switch Lite and now you're like, man, I want to go into dock mode. And now you have the option of getting this for $299 or $350 for the other version. Which brings me to another pro, is that the newer version is going to have more memory. So this one only has 32 gigs onboard storage. The OLED is going to have 64 gigs. So if you want to look at it like that $50 premium is for better speakers and for more storage, then you can kind of justify that $50 difference, right? Some people may look at it like, no, that's still not worth $50. All right, well then you can still rock out with this one for $299. But I think that the minor changes are definitely worth it for me to grab an additional Switch OLED. This one, my daughter, I'm sure, would love to play this one. This one I can leave docked in case we have company and they want to play. And I'll always have my OLED just moving about around the house or when I travel. So those are just some of the pros and cons, I guess, of looking at the latest announcement. I want you guys to hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think about it. Are you going to try to pick one up? I'm going to say that these things are going to be really hard to get. So you may want to sign up if there's pre-orders or anything like that, especially coming for October. Because if you're waiting around for like Black Friday or something, I really doubt that they're going to have any deals or anything to pick up that system, because they're probably going to be rare. If it's anything like PlayStation 5, yeah, you could be waiting around a while to get that newer system. So I would say jump on it. But let me know what you guys think. I know I just said a lot. Keep in mind, these are my opinions, right? So there's no need to really like argue and yell at me in the comments as far as like, you love your PlayStation 5, it blows this out of the water. Yeah, it does graphically, right? But for me, what it boils down to is the fun factor. How much fun do you get out of your device? For me, this is the highest on the fun factor, because these are games that I can play and I can progress through the game without getting frustrated too much. I found that over the years, I just don't have the patience to master some of those super difficult games on Xbox and PlayStation. I don't have that kind of capacity anymore. So those of you who probably still have that capacity, obviously those are going to be the better systems for you. For people that are like me or in a similar situation, these are games that we can play with our kids, with our grandkids, and it's just fun, right? There's no like losers really. It's just about the experience. So that's all I have for right now. Hit me up in the comments if you guys want to see more content about this guy here. It's one of my favorite devices that I picked up last year, and I'm still loving it. So just hit me up. Let me know if you have any questions. It's your boy Yella. To the next one. Peace.